Hello, everybody, and today I will be talking about the Cincinnati Reds the last 3 weeks of the 2021 season. I haven't talked about the Reds a lot recently, and I probably should talk about them more because right now they are tied up with the Padres and the wild card, and there's only 21 games left to go. So I want to go over what's happened the past 15 days with some of these players because the Reds have not been good recently. They were up by 2 or 3 games in the wild card, and they ended up slipping. And yesterday they were 1 game down, and they ended up coming away with a win, and Padres lost. So right now it's tied up. So I want to go over the stats recently, and then I will talk about how the Reds can go the next 3 weeks, and hopefully they can pull away with wins in the wild card. So here's some stats for some of the players on the Reds that struggled. I pulled it off the MLB website, and this for the past 15 days. Joey Votto, I don't know what's happened. There was outside talks about him becoming the MVP. I thought it was always funny because honestly, I just didn't really see it. He was out for over a month. And also the first month that the MLB season, he wasn't looking good. So the last 15 days with 38 at bats, he has a 158 average, 297 on base percentage, a 263 slugging, and an OPS of 555. Not exactly numbers you want out of someone who usually gets on base in the upper threes, lower 400s. I mean, Joey Votto historically has been like a 300 average and a 400 on base percentage. So recently, I don't know what's happened in the past 15 days, but obviously he hasn't looked good. So next is Jonathan India, and this year he's been really good. The past 15 games, though, I don't know what's happened. He has a 237 average, a 304 on base, a 490 slugging, and a 394 OPS. That's in 51 at bats. So he has the most at bats out of anyone on this list of the past 15 days. So that makes his stats even look worse because he has the most at bats. Now it helped yesterday that he did pretty good last night. He had a home run and stuff. So some of these numbers a little bit better than what it was before yesterday. But this season's India has been a 270, 280 hitter. Been on base on a 380. His slugging's been good. So while some of the stats don't look that bad, it's under what it was for the season, and this is the only year India's played as a rookie. So that's something to keep an eye on, I guess, is with India, is that maybe teams have found him out. I'm not really too worried about Votto because he usually adjusts, but if this starts creeping into India and he's not able to perform, then that could be a problem with him just coming into the MLB. Next is Kyle Farmer, and last month, like early August, he was on fire. He was doing so good that the Reds put him in the 3-hole at some points, because if we had a player or whatever, plug him in the 3-hole. Why not? But the past 15 days, he's had 44 at-bats. His average is a 182. His on-base percentage is a 213. Slugging is a 341. And his OPS is at 554. Not exactly good numbers. His OPS is 1 point lower than Votto's. And the thing that is different between Votto and Kyle Farmer. Farmer had a higher sluggage, but Votto had a better on base percentage of the past 15 games. So that's something that I'm a little bit interested in, because Kyle Farmer, back in August was really good, and now he's struggling. And I don't know if it's a tendency for Farmer to kind of streak like that, be bad then good, bad. I don't know, but that's something to watch. I think he'll definitely bounce back. So next one is RST Aquino, and I gotta be honest, I'm not buying RST Aquino. Back in 2019, they bought him up in August, and he mashed 10 home runs in a matter of like 2 weeks. But since then, he's had some of the worst numbers on the Reds for the past year and a half, 2 years. So, and the past 15 days haven't looked any better than that. Past 15 days, he's had a 167 average, a 286 on base percentage, a 286 slugging, and a 277 OPS. So Aquino hasn't had good stats for a long time, and that's something that that really needs to be talked about more. Maybe I'll have to make a video on that. But Aquino has been just struggling so much, and yeah, I don't know what the Reds should do with him. Talking about not being good this season, the next two guys are the left-hander and right-hander third basemen. Mike Moustakas, past 15 days, he's had a 208 average, 208 on base percentage, a 417 slugging, and a 625 OPS. And Suarez has a 227 average, a 357 on base percentage, a 591 slugging, and a 948 on base percentage. Not on base, OPS. He has a 948 OPS. For Suarez, he's actually had better stats past 15 days, and he's had his season average. He's only been like a 170, 180 this season as far as average. So 227 is actually better for him. But it's not the Suarez that you want. If you're selling with the 227 Suarez, then we got a problem. Considering he hit 49 home runs, and he was one of the best players in 2019. One of the most underrated players in 2019. And then 2020 and 2021, he's looked bad. Last year in the 60 game shortened season, he didn't look good. This year, he hasn't looked good. The only thing Suarez has done this season is hit home runs, and his slugging's pretty good. His slugging's a 291, and his on base percentage isn't that bad. It's at 357 the past 15 days. I don't know what season it is. I'm guessing it's way lower than that. So his past 15 days haven't looked that bad, except the average is a 227. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's just really bad with Babbitt, or whoever it is, balls in play average. So yeah, and as far as Mike Moustakas goes, I have no clue about Mike Moustakas anymore. Like, I don't know what's happened to this guy with his stats. I mean, a 625 OPS past 15 days. The fact that he hasn't been good this season, Like we, the Reds have not had a lot of production out of the third base spot, which once you consider that Suarez was one of the best players back in 2019, and now he's putting up this stats. And Mike Moustakas, he won a World Series, and was considered one of the best players on that team. Obviously with the Royals, he was one of the best players in that World Series winning team, and yet he comes here and he's hitting 208 in the past 15 days. In a season, I think he's hitting around 200, if that. So, I don't know what to do with him. And so the fact that the Reds don't have any production there is not good. And that's it for the main players, but I also want to make this point. Wade Miley has 6 at-bats in his past 3 pitching starts, and he's gotten 3 hits. So, clearly that means that something is weird going on where these players are struggling, and then somehow Wade Miley, out of all the people, are able to hit better. Now, of course, Wade Miley only had 6 at-bats, so and Miley is a decent hitter for a pitcher, so I think I made my point about the Reds struggling. So now there have been some of the Reds players that have been really good. I don't have those stats in front of me, but Nick Castellanos has just been good all season. Early on it was him and Winker that a lot of people were talking about, especially from the Reds fan side, talking about them becoming the MVP this season. They've come down a little bit, but Nick Castellanos is still trying to fight for a batting title this year, which is crazy. And so Castellanos has been good. The catches between Barnhart and Stevenson sharing at bats, they've been good for most of the year. And then there's been a lot of other players. There's a couple other players and stuff that's been pretty good recently. But I want to make this point that the Reds are really going to have to fire on all cylinders. And once you consider that my list here that had the past 15 days of the people who struggled, we have the main first baseman, Joey Votto, the second baseman, India, the shortstop, Kyle Farmer, and then Moustakas and Suarez sharing third base, and Aquino usually getting outfield spot. I mean, you can't have you basically your entire infield, except for your catcher and your pitcher, usually pitchers are bad hitting, but I was going to make the point that the third baseman, the shortstop, the second, and the first baseman, if those are 4 straight outs, and then you got a guy out in outfield that's an out, who you got left? You got your catcher, maybe a center field, Castellanos. I mean, like, the Reds are going to have to fix something here, and I want to make a point about that here in a moment. Who do the Reds play for the for the last 19 games? Well, they have quite a few games against the Pirates, which hopefully those are wins, but we've seen that recently that Reds can really lose to anyone, and they can also win against anyone. Early on, we saw the Reds defeat the Dodgers in the series 2-1. But then recently, we've seen the Reds absolutely get destroyed by Detroit, of all people, of all teams, rather. So the Reds past the recently have been terrible, even against really, really bad teams. Uh, and to go to the world, well, I kind of want them to go. I want them to go to the World Series, but to make the wild card, they got to start winning, and they play 3 against LA. They play 2 against the White Sox, and they play a series. I think it's either 3 or 4 games in St. Louis. And then, except for that, they play the Nationals and the Pirates. Nationals and Pirates aren't good, but of course, again, I just made that point that Reds can lose to anyone. So, the Reds really have to find out who they are as a team, and they gotta get these stats up if they want to win, because you're not going to win in Los Angeles or the White Sox or the Cardinals by scoring a single run or 2 runs or 3. You need to put on 5 or more against some of these teams if you want to have a chance of winning, especially against a team like Los Angeles. With all the stuff that the Dodgers have, I mean, you're not. It's going to be pretty hard for your pitchers to feel comfortable with the lineup that the Dodgers have if you aren't putting runs up yourself. So get the stats up. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, you gotta have more production of your best players. You need to pull it together if you want to win as a team, and it could be huge for the Reds, especially if they make the wild card as far as what's going to happen off season with players and stuff. Because if the Reds make the playoffs, and even if they lose, especially if they lose after the wild card, I think it'd be interesting to see what would happen if they lose another wild card game like they did last year in the 3-game series wild card, which was weird. But if they lose this one, would be interesting as to what they do with the team heading into the off season. Whether that means that they go insane with spending or they completely cut off the entire team. That'd be interesting to see. But this is where teams win. This is where a good team has to win. You have to win these series, and you can't be in the playoffs by losing your past 10 series. You can't do it. The Reds have 4-game series straight in a row that they lost. They play the rubber match against the Cubs tonight. I'm hoping that they win. Hopefully, many of these players get back on the hot streak and they end up winning tonight, and they just continue to win because they go into St. Louis, and if they start losing there, it could be really bad. Not only because they're tied up with the Padres right now, but Cardinals are trying to track down the Reds also for that wild card spot, as they are, I think they're somewhere between 2 and 4 games behind, and you play 3 or 4 against Cincinnati, so won't be good for the Reds. And so I should probably stop rambling on. So thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys later.